So you have a character and you want to give it something to hold, but get super frustrated because it's a pain in the ass doing it manually, right? Placing every single finger on the object by hand, tweaking it to stop it from clipping through the object, it's a whole thing. That's why I brought something that can skip all that labor. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the difference between doing it manually and using this tool on few objects to see if it's any help. Let's go. As you can see, I've prepared two identical characters for this test. Let's start by trying to grab the blue ball without the add-on. I'm using one of the big, medium, small characters for this one. It comes with a really high quality rig, so it works out pretty well. For the comparison, we're gonna do the manual way first. We'll go in and adjust every joint for each individual finger one by one. And as you can probably tell, this quickly becomes a bit of a mess. The amount of clicking, tweaking, and constantly going back into the rig is extremely time consuming. But the real issue shows up when the fingers start intersecting with the object itself, things begin clipping inside, and you lose that clean, natural contact pretty fast. Now let's switch over to the add-on version. All you need to do is to bring the ball close to the hand. Go into pose mode, select the fingers, open the add-on panel, choose the object you want to interact with, set the collision margin, and hit collide. That's it. And just think about it. How many clicks was that? Like 10? Maybe even less. That's the real difference. Manual work on one side and a fast automated workflow on the other. Now, before we go any further, let's quickly go over on how to install and set up the add-on. Installing the add-on is pretty straightforward. Just go to Edit, Preference, Add-on, click on the drop-down and select Install from Disk. Then locate the add-on file you just downloaded and click on Install. You should see it on the list now. To access the add-on, make sure you're in pose mode. Press N to open the sidebar, then navigate to the add-on panel and click on Quick Finger Collision, and that's about it. Alright, now that the add-on is installed, let's see what it's really capable of. Now it's time to throw some random objects at it and find out whether it can handle it or it's gonna fall apart under pressure. First, I'm gonna test it with this energy drink can model. I'm using the default settings here, no custom tweaks or adjustments. All I'm doing is selecting the finger bones, choosing the mesh, selecting the collision margin, and clicking on grab. And honestly, it did a pretty good job. The only issue I noticed is with the thumb positioning, but considering this was done with default settings in just few clicks, the result is pretty impressive. Now let's try it with this bottle. Oh, and before I forget, if you want to test it with different objects or select a new set of bones, make sure you clear your previous selection first. Click on Select Enable Bones and disable the Enable toggle. That will deselect the currently active bones and make it easier to set up your next test without any unwanted selection carrying over. Alright, back to the bottle. Just like before, select the finger bones and the target mesh using the eyedropper tool. However, in this case, the finger rotation is along the y-axis, so we'll need to change the target axis settings to XYZ for better results. Once that's set up, go ahead and click on grab. If the result doesn't look quite right on the first try, don't worry, in most cases, simply lowering the collision margin a little bit will give you much cleaner grip and better finger placement. To fix the thumb, I found that it's usually better to handle it separately from the other fingers, since it often rotates along the different axes. Instead of using XYZ, I'm gonna set the target axis to Z, because as you can see, the thumb is oriented much more along the Z axis than the Y or X axis. With a quick adjustment, the thumb sits much more naturally against the bottle and gives us a cleaner overall grip. Alright, now let's step it up and move on to a more complex model. This time we're gonna push the add-on a bit further and see how it can handle more demanding shapes and interactions. Here we got the simple box model, which might look basic at first, but it's actually a good stress test for finger accuracy and collision behavior. First, let's try grabbing the upper side of the box with all bones, but as you can see, it gets a bit messy for the thumb. So let's do the exact same thing we did for the bottle and adjust the thumb separately. One important thing I forgot to do here is move the hand closer to the surface. This add-on relies on surface detection system, meaning it calculates finger placement based on how close the hand is to the target mesh. If the hand is too far away, it won't have accurate surface data to work with, and the results can look off or less stable. So before running the collision, make sure the hand is properly aligned and close enough to the object surface. That way the add-on can correctly detect contact points and generate much more reliable finger wrapping around the mesh. After that, with X-axis target, the finger snaps to the object almost perfectly. Time for the second hand. Just like before, I'll deselect the previous finger bones to avoid any conflicts, then enable the add-on for this hand. After that, I'll pick the box model again and run the grab operation to test the interactions, but in some cases the results doesn't behave as expected. This usually comes down to bone rotation setup in the rig. The good thing is, the add-on accounts for that as well. That's where the bone rotation limit feature becomes useful. What it does is to control how far each bone is allowed to rotate by defining minimum and maximum values, along with positive and negative ranges. In simple terms, it restricts the rotation space of the fingers so they don't twist in an unnatural way. By clamping these values, the add-on can give us more stable and predictable results. And once again, our old friend thumb is causing trouble. Let's fix it quickly. I'll isolate it, switch the axis to XYZ and slightly increase the margin. Yep, that's better. Much cleaner now. The thumb is finally sits where it should be and matches the grip properly. Now let's move on to the gun. This is basically the stress test with the kind of objects where everything we've seen so far gets pushed to its limits. More complex shape, more contact points, and much less forgiving surface for finger placement. At this point you already know the workflow. Just like before, I start bringing the hand close to the object. Then I select the finger bones, pick the shotgun mesh using the eyedropper. This time I'm taking a bit of control myself and manually adjust the fingers where I want it to be placed. When your model has separate pieces like handle, triggers and stuff like this, it's easier and better to work with because you got more control over the process. At first this workflow might seem like a lot to learn, but once you get used to it, it becomes very easy and natural. Soon you will see how much faster and more fun it is than the old manual way. It saves you a lot of time and gives you total control over the final results. For the second hand, things are much simpler. We only need to grip the barrel of the gun, so there's no need to go through all that again. We can just select the hand bones, target the mesh, and run the grab operation directly. Oh, and if something like this happened, double check your selection first. You might have the wrong bone selected, just like I did. Once I corrected it and deselected the incorrect set, everything works perfectly. That's pretty much it. Here's a useful final tip. You can parent or constrain the rig to the model, so it follows the object movements automatically. This is especially helpful if you're animating or repositioning the assets in the scene, since everything stays synchronized without needing manual adjustments. And that is a wrap. If you think you'll find it useful, all the download links are in the description. Make sure you check it out. Also, you can check out my Patreon and Gumroad page for real-time process videos and tutorials, or the cool add-ons I've made, like EyeForge, where you can make customized eyes in just a few seconds. It has tons of different types, from anime eyes to stylized or realistic, with the option to manually change the shape or the size of basically everything. And also a haircut studio, where you can make haircuts really easy with only few clicks. And it has a lot of customization. You can change the strand shape or length, or even make it curly with only few clicks. Be sure to check out the links in the description. See you on the next one. Peace.